And we are live, I think. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crossing China's Red Line, episode number 10. We finally got into double digits with the episode numbers. Yay! 10 episodes. Still don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, but that's okay. We're going to keep plugging away at it, see how it goes. So I hope everybody's doing well. Let me see who is in the chat today. Yes, we've got Lauma41. We've got Mike Stewart, Jasmine, Matthew Moore, Headley, Will Smith. Barry was here but had to go to bed because he's a pussy. He can't handle staying up until 5 a.m. How's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. So we've got a good one today. Well, I mean, not a good one. It's some pretty shitty news, but it's going to be an interesting episode, I hope. Let me just load up my media that I've got here. Give me a second. Gonna put this in. Okay, and we're gonna start off with this. Right, so this is from the thumbnail. This is the topic from the thumbnail. We're gonna talk about the British university problem a bit later on, but we're gonna first talk about this. So China always talks about how amazing their robots are. In fact, it's pretty much one of the major talking points for why China is such an advanced country, according to many people. Nowadays, if you go up to somebody and you ask them about China on the street, they'll usually say, "Oh yeah, well they're really they're really tech savvy in China, and they've got amazing tech. The robots are out of this world amazing." Seriously, that is the impression, that is the image that China has projected onto the whole world with their propaganda, which means they're doing a really good job with their propaganda. And you get fools like this guy, Zhang Heqing. Um, he's the ambassador for China for Pakistan, I believe. So he posts this. Even when Joe grandpas did a double take. Robots walking dogs. Picture this, a sunny afternoon in Wenzhou where grandpas usually gather to chat over tea and comment on passers-by. Suddenly, a dog walker with a shiny metal body rolls by, leash in its mechanical claw, a fluffy pup trotting happily beside it. Whoa, that sounds amazing. I bet we can't wait to see this. Wow. Okay, just need to take that back. So this is apparently a robot walking its dog, and I put the clown music in there because the robot is wearing a clown wig. It looks very clownish. This whole scene looks very clownish. The fact that it's walking across on a zebra crossing and it hasn't been ran over, that in China, that really amazes me because a headless dog. Headless, yeah, yeah, it's creepy, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you. I was more paying attention to the robot walking it. But yeah, that is creepy. So a zebra crossing in China, or crosswalk, whatever you want to call it, that is target practice for Chinese drivers. You know, they don't have the rule of stopping at the zebra crossing when there's a pedestrian walking across it. So I was half hoping that a car would come screeching round the corner and smash this robot to pieces, but alas, it didn't happen. So this is apparently supposed to be high tech robotics on full display from China, the greatest robots manufacturer in the world. And then it all comes crashing down because They are making out that their robots are autonomous, which means that they can basically think for themselves. It's AI, high tech, cutting edge, right? Cutting edge, high tech AI. But then you see a clip like this. This is supposed to be an autonomous robot being controlled by a guy with a remote control behind his back. And this crowd have been completely duped into thinking that this robot is walking around by itself. What a joke! We need to see it again, and just to show you, yes, Matthew, I love the clown music too. I've used this music for years on my video. I used to use it a lot on the shill videos, you know. It's just like this copyright-free clown music. It's great. So yeah, look, remote control behind his back. That is pathetic. Just controlling the guy with the remote. I would say that's probably this guy that we're looking at next, Xi Jinping. Okay, I just wanted to draw your attention to a really hilarious Twitter account or X account, whatever the hell you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. I don't think I'm ever going to seriously call it X. But this is an account that Zhang He reposted, and it's Xi's Moments. So it's a whole Twitter page, Twitter account devoted to telling the story of Xi Jinping. It's just ridiculous. Can you just imagine here in the UK we have a web page called Starmer's Moments, and it's a whole Twitter account dedicated to Keir Starmer and telling his stories and just praising him, telling the world how great he is. Now I do know there's loads of parody accounts set up about Keir Starmer, making fun of him, and even on Keir Starmer's real, genuine Twitter account, he gets ripped to shreds almost every single day. And yet we have this She's Moments, and we're expected to take this seriously. So, guys, if you are on Twitter, I've noticed that on this account, there's very few people criticizing Xi Jinping. I'm not sure if I don't know how to really. I don't really use Twitter very often. I did have an account on there. I do have an account that I just go around, but it's just to look at stuff. I don't post on Twitter. So if you do have a Twitter account, go and check out She's Moments. Maybe leave a comment for the whole world to see. I just thought it was funny, and I think we need to share more of these funny accounts on Twitter. Stop already! I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll get Xi Jinping out of here now. Okay, so let's move on to the main topic. And I am going to do a lot of talking here, but I don't really have a lot to look at in terms of media like images and videos and that kind of thing. But this is something that we seriously need to address because it's really important, and it's really shocking just how much British universities rely on the CCP or rely on China. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? The CCP is China, unfortunately. So here's the story that just shocked me, and I think it's going to shock you guys as well. But it does kind of have a happy ending, kind of, but it's really worrying. Let me just take a sip of my drink. Drinking dandelion and burdock today, and it is lovely. Okay, so a UK university halted some research on human rights after pressure from China. Wow. So there is this professor at Sheffield Hallam University. Her name is Laura Murphy. and she was researching forced labor in Xinjiang. So we all know about Xinjiang and forced labor with the Uyghur Muslims who are being persecuted by the CCP. I'm not going to go on about that. That has been covered to death, especially by myself from other live streams on my other channel. And I've also made videos about it as well. But suffice to say, the CCP is committing a cultural genocide on the Uyghurs in Xinjiang, well, what they call Xinjiang, what many of the Uyghurs would call East Turkestan. Okay, so the university pulled the plug on her research due to pressure from China. What the hell is going on? So, Professor Murthy, she had some previous work that was also about forced labor in Xinjiang, which has been widely cited by Western governments and the United Nations, which China is a part of, believe it or not, and Taiwan is not. Anyway, this work that she's done is extremely important, and it's helped shape so many policies that are designed to root out goods that are made by forced labor from international supply chains. But China doesn't like Professor Murphy's work, and they are doing their best to get this research buried. So, how can China do this? How can they have an influence on British universities? Well, here's the problem. This is the problem, guys. It's really quite tragic. Sheffield University, this Hallam University, whatever it's called, it seems to want the dirty CCP money from the students of China. You see, the CCP, it has a really, really tight control over its international students, right? And if a university relies on the money from China, then the CCP in turn can have a lot of influence at that university. And this is the state of British universities at the moment. We've seen it time and time again where these little shithead, brazen CCP little pinky students try to dictate what can and cannot be taught at British universities. And they even go so far as to disrupt classes in the middle of a lesson. They'll just disrupt that class, especially, well, when the teacher's talking about something like that Michelle Shipworth at University College London, where she was talking about modern slavery in China. A little pink got up and said that you're provoking them and you're not telling the right narrative. So they go and they formally complain against these lecturers and their lesson content because it doesn't support their bullshit narrative. And it seems to be working for them. That Michelle Shipworth, she got suspended from her course, and it seemed to have worked for them with this lecturer, Professor Laura Murphy. So Chinese students, that is the driving force for a lot of universities in the UK because they can make a hell of a lot of money from the tuition fees, which are double the tuition fees that a domestic student here in the UK will have to pay. And this university in Sheffield, it hit a massive slump in recruiting students from China. And there's a couple of reasons for this. So the CCP shut down the university's recruitment website because of the aforementioned research about forced labor in Xinjiang. Um, Also, the name of the center where the research is being conducted is the Helena Kennedy Center. Now, Helena Kennedy is a human rights lawyer here in the UK and also a member of British Parliament. And she was sanctioned by China for speaking up against human rights violations, especially in Xinjiang with the Uyghurs. In 2022, one of China's wolf warrior diplomats, Zhao Lijian, called the Helena Kennedy Center, and this is a direct quote from him. This is one of China's diplomats. So the Helena Kennedy Center is a vanguard for anti-China forces. So the university's website gets blocked. Zhao Lijian calls one of the centers at the university a vanguard for anti-China forces. We can see that China aren't too impressed with this research. So several years ago, the University of Sheffield, this university, heavily relied on scholarship fees from students from China. And in 2020, they had over 500 Chinese students. But now, since all of this stuff has happened, like the website being blocked, Zhao Lijian calling the center a vanguard for anti-China forces, the university now only has 73 students from China. So obviously universities rely on money from the Chinese students, and it seems that they will do anything that they want, anything that they can to get that money, which includes censoring research on behalf of an authoritarian dictatorship. Man, it is crazy. It's crazy. So here's where the story gets even more interesting. They sent some state security officers from the CCP to visit the university's China office. Wait, why does it have an office in China anyway, right? It's a recruitment office. All of the universities have one of these. And so these security officers questioned staff about the researcher, and apparently there was a local staff member who was questioned for over 2 hours regarding the research that was going on at the center. Apparently, again, it's been quoted that the tone was threatening and the message to cease the research activity was made absolutely clear. Also, in 2020, in 2024, there was some pressure from Chinese state and there was a separate defamation lawsuit against the university after they were sued by a Chinese company that was named in one of the reports that they made. The university's insurance provider said it would no longer cover work produced by the Helena Kennedy Center for defamation risk. So they're afraid of defamation. That lawsuit is currently ongoing. So Sheffield Hallam decided not to publish a final piece of research by Professor Murphy and her team into forced labor, citing legal reasons. Is that a good enough excuse not to publish an academic paper? I don't think so. So, anyway, in early 2025, university administrators told what's her name, Professor Murphy, that she could no longer continue with her research into supply chains and forced labor in China. So they cut off her research. And what happened is Murphy obviously wasn't going to take this. She initiated legal action against the university for failing in its duty to protect her academic freedom, not just just for access to the student market in China. The university was clearly violating her academic freedom under the Higher Education Freedom of Speech Act 2023. Universities under this act, they have a duty to protect free speech and academic freedom. So this is the ridiculous part for me. This is the part that kind of pissed me off. So when Murphy initiated the legal action, obviously she was entitled to see some of the documents and some of the liaison between the university and China, right? So there were some internal emails set that were said attempting to retain the business in China and publication of the research are now sorry. The email said, and this is a quote, attempting to retain the business in China and publication of the research are now untenable bedfellows. So, in other words, the university was saying that publishing the critical report about China would damage its ability to continue operating there and recruit new students from China. So they chose making money from the Chinese students over academic freedom. This is ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. And it keeps happening over and over again. I keep reading stories about this. Now, apparently, the university has been caught out and they've had to formally apologize to Murphy, and her work has been allowed to resume. But it's just seriously disturbing that it had to get to this stage where her work was cancelled before, and she had to take legal action before something could be resolved and she could continue her work. It's just amazing how much power the CCP has over British universities, and it's all about the money. We should never, never allow a foreign power to dictate what research is allowed to happen in a British university. This is seriously alarming. Why the hell are universities so quick to take the side of an authoritarian dictatorship and censor on behalf of China? Do they really need the money this desperately? I think it might be a good idea to work on making your courses better instead of catering for authoritarian dictatorships. Surely there must be a better solution than taking this kind of money, right? Anyway, that is all I have to say on this. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. You should keep an eye on it. And we should definitely fight against this censorship in our universities from governments like the CCP. I don't want this to happen at universities. I think universities should be a place where freedom of speech is respected and there should be all kinds of debates and dialogue talking about the kind of things that authoritarian governments don't want us to talk about. Okay? And that is all I've got to say on that. Let's move on. Rant over. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. And good job by this professor, Laura Murphy. Well done. All right, we're going to move along. This is, oh, by the way, yeah, this is just her, Professor Laura Murphy. This is her Twitter account. If you want to go on and give her some encouragement, show your support for her, please go ahead if you're on Twitter. Next, what have we got? Oh, yeah, okay. So we're just going to look at some videos that I found out of China. Let me see some of your comments first about this, though. Starmer is a joke. I regret voting Labour. No, yeah, I'm with you on that one, mate. I totally, totally regret voting for that chump. I guess I won't be sending my grandson for Sheffield Harlem. Were you really going to be doing that though? I mean, I think there's some pretty decent unis in Canada. What else have we got? Money talks, talent walks. Yeah, seriously. They have to be able to support open dialogue. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, like bring in the Chinese students. That's not the problem. The problem is the CCP has leverage over the Chinese students and they can control what the Chinese students do. I'm all for students from China coming to universities here in the UK, but they have to understand that they are studying in another country and their narrative, what they think, how they think the world works, isn't necessarily how the UK thinks the world works. And universities in the UK, sure, we should respect their opinions, but we should also show them that opinions should be questioned and there should be debate surrounding their narrative. It's the first time that they've ever been in a country where they're allowed to express their freedom of speech and they're still perpetuating a narrative from the CCP, from a dictatorship. It's really quite pathetic. So they need to understand that when they come to the UK, they do things the way we do it here in the UK. And we're not going to bend to their bullshit. Anyway, right. My opinion, it's just disgusting. Yes, it really is. Yeah. Last episode was brilliant. Too bad you. Yeah, man. YouTube. Yeah, I think YouTube just sucks in general. The name we in Malaysia. Yeah, I did read about that. I'm not really going to discuss that on today's stream because I'm still waiting to hear more about it. Let's see. Showing my age, money has always been important, but in the good old days, they were willing to compromise academic freedom for more money. So, in the good old days, were they? No, I don't think they were willing to do that in the good old days. No, definitely not. Um, when I went to uni, it wasn't like that. There needs to be some economic decoupling so people can get less. Exactly, exactly. But we need to find other ways to make that money, and it's not going to be easy. Right. I just found some videos about China's gutter oil. I just thought we would watch it. So, gutter oil is oil that's been retrieved from the drain, or in some cases, it's chili oil that's been retrieved from a bin, a garbage can, whatever the hell you guys call it in North America. And they take that oil from the gutter, from the drain, and they use that when they're cooking food, and it's absolutely disgusting. So there's been a few gutter oil sightings recently. So let's have a look. This guy's slowly putting the oil into a little dish. They're going to use this to cook food straight out of the trash, straight out of the garbage, rubbish, whatever you want to call it. Look, this guy. This is this happens a lot in China. Can you really, really trust the food that you would eat in a restaurant there? Are they getting their oil like this? Why hasn't this been stopped by the government? This keeps getting exposed time and time again. This guy's loading it into his truck. Not truck. His little shitty like three-wheeler car, whatever the hell it is. Look at that. He's got a massive vat full of it. That is gross. Yeah, so gutter oil is still a huge problem in China, and it's something that you need to seriously, if you still live in China and it's 2025, you're still there, you're one of the shills, you're talking about how great it is and how free it is. Well, it seems that freedom also makes people free to exploit others and use cheap, shitty, dirty oil that can risk their life just to make a tiny profit, just to save a little bit of money. Because let's face it, cooking oil isn't that expensive, right? But they just want to save a little bit of money and they're putting the health of their customers at risk. And this is what happens in a country like China where they don't have any control over food. There's no laws surrounding food health and safety standards. There are no laws. And they'll pretend to have these little laws, but they don't exist. And that's why things like this keep happening. So, gutter oil, just be aware if you do live in China, you're going to encounter this at some point. And, I feel like if I ever have any health problems later on in life, it might be because of this. I lived in China for 7 years. I'm just thinking, 7 years in China, how much of that food that I ate was in cooked in gutter oil? Shocking. They put it in her shampoo. What? Okay, so here's the next thing. I came across this tweet. It's from somebody called Xiefeng, and they posted this video about all of these good Samaritans in China, how amazing it is. Here's what they said. This is what the world should be. Heroes are ordinary humans who choose to reach out. And it was just showing you all of these clips from China about how heroic they are and how they all help each other. It's basically this account is a propaganda account, and they quite often put out stuff like this. It's trying to say, well, people in China do this, but people in the rest of the world don't. That's why China is better. When it's bullshit. People help each other all around the world, and they do in China. But I would say in China, they're less inclined to help each other because of some crazy scams and crazy things that constantly happen over there. So, anyway, I thought I would just quickly put this together. So, we've got the tweet. This is what the world should be. Heroes are ordinary humans. Two guys pushing the truck.
大爷看病自己上来给甩到了，硬是恼火，70多岁，现在得接诊的人来看。
And then you've got a clip like this in a hospital where there's a guy collapsed on a staircase, and there's a guy with a doctor, and the doctor just completely ignores the guy who's collapsed on the staircase and they walk past. Can you believe that? That is disgusting. That is in a hospital as well. And it's obviously all part of this fear that they're going to get scammed by this person. But in a hospital, shouldn't doctors not be helping a guy who's fallen over on the stairs and is lying flat on his ass? Well, flat on his stomach? Are doctors even worried about this scam? Surely being in a hospital, that whole scam thing would be completely negated, right? Look at it. The hell is happening? Yeah, they think he's trying to get free medical treatment. Well, I would say there's nothing free in China regarding medical treatment.
好了，医生都不敢动他。
Okay, so here we go. We've got the same tweet. So you've got this guy doing the broken vase scam, the puncture scam, where they throw themselves in front of cars and they try to claim insurance money from that person. They try to get compensation from them. But this guy's just not even moving. He's just standing there smoking on his cheap cigarette. Someone pulls up in a car, opens their boot, and they're going to steal this, whatever the hell it is. Again, it completely destroys the myth that you can leave anything out in the open in China without it getting stolen. Uh-oh. He was about to grab something else. Time to get out of here. Luckily, the guy gets his thing back, whatever it is. Again. Alright. And next, you've got some lady in the bathroom just stealing all of the tissue paper, all of the toilet paper to wipe your ass with. She's just taking all of it. Selfish act. This is why you can't leave anything unattended in China. She's taking the whole lot. And now in Shanghai, some old guy is sitting on two other people on the subway because they wouldn't give him their seat and they're pushing him. But yeah, China, the land where everybody helps each other. Land where everybody is helping each other all the time. And I think the lady there is calling the cops. He's not giving up, is he? He's desperate to get a seat. He's like a monkey there hanging off of those. Hey, yo, come on. What are you doing? No comment on that one. Just a crazy ass fight that breaks out in a hot pot restaurant. I've seen countless. I've seen this countless times when living there. Wanted to watch that one again. Fucking hell. I have no idea what's going on there. Okay, anyway, so just wanted to show you, like when you see that kind of propaganda, it's kind of pathetic. It would be like me posting some people helping other people here in the UK and pretending that nothing bad happens here in the UK when we literally just had a stabbing on a train a couple of days ago. 9 people were stabbed on a train. And then I post stuff saying, oh, the UK is peaceful and nobody ever gets stabbed. And look, people just want to help each other here. It's ridiculous. So when you see that propaganda from China, always question it. And you'll always find a clip that completely negates everything that this propaganda says. Anyway, I wanted to end today's stream with just a really, really funny, stupid ass clip that I saw, and it made me chuckle. And I just wanted to show you guys. Okay, here we go. Look at the guy. Look at what he's filming. Like he's putting the camera right up to her breasts. And I thought it was funny. He just won't stop like putting the camera right up to her. Look. And she said, "You were recording me really close, and you paid a number dinner. You're like filming me very close." So he's literally had the camera pointing at her boobs. Anyway, and this one as well. This one cracked me up. So this guy, he's just hypnotized by something. Look, I wonder what he's hypnotized by. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. So I just figured like I would just end, like usually we end on misery, but I thought we would end on something a little bit more interesting and just a little bit more fun. Anyway, that is all that we have for today's stream. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.